In the national elections of 2024 in South Africa, the MK party emerged from obscurity and won the most votes in KZN in just 6 months. Frustrated and delusioned with the ANC's failed promises, South Africans unavoidably cast their support behind a man many believed to be corrupt in the general elections in 2024. However, in KwaZulu-Natal, followers of the former president Jacob Zuma saw him as reliable and a convenient scapegoat for the pervasive corruption inside the ruling party. In KwaZulu-Natal, the Democratic Alliance DA received 13.2% of the vote, the ANC received 17%, the IFP received 18%, and Zuma's MK party received 45% of the total. In addition to profiting from voter resentment over 30 years of ANC rule, high rates of violent crimes, power blackouts known locally as load shedding, growing shortages of piped water, government corruption and poverty, the MK is now capitalizing on Zuma's popularity to win over more supporters. Zuma announced his departure from ANC, claiming that he could no longer vote for a party that had turned into sellouts and promising to make sure the MK received enough support to win and amend the nation's constitution to the advantage of the marginalized black majority. Top international courts frequently referred South Africa's constitution, which is regarded as one of the most progressive in the world. Zuma and MK counter that it does not represent the people because it was shaped by Western laws, insinuating that the Constitution has hindered the ascent of many black South Africans. Despite the numerous scandals that dogged the path of Jacob Zuma's political prominence, he continues to be popular. In 2005, he lost his job as the deputy president of the nation when his close friend was found guilty of corruption for bribing, among other things. He was charged for rape the same year, although he was ultimately found not guilty. He was indicted in 2005 on allegations of money laundering, corruption, and fraud. In spite of these difficulties, Zuma was able to win the 2007 ANC leadership election and the 2009 and 2014 presidential elections in South Africa. He was once more linked to charges of corruption and embezzlement of public funds when he was in the office. Furthermore, despite being presented with summons, he declined to take part in a commission investigating corruption after being expelled in 2018. He was given a 15-month prison sentence, and when the police picked him up from his house in July 2021, certain sections of South Africa descended into a week-long rampage of violence and looting that claimed over 350 lives and severely damaged the country's economy. Critics refer to Zuma's tenure as president as 9 wasted years, during which the economy collapsed and corruption and fraud spread like wildfire. Nevertheless, despite South Africa's Electoral Commission declaring that he was unable to run for office because of his conviction for contempt of court, a decision the MK has frequently challenged, he is once again in the political spotlight with the MK. Those who back Zuma are frequently content to follow the former president's example, despite his numerous detractors. Despite the fact that 82-year-old Zuma is technically prohibited from running for office owing to a jail term, MK's rise to prominence has upended the political system, demonstrating his continuing influence, especially in his own KwaZulu-Natal province. Less than half of the vote was cast for the ANC, which has held a majority in elections for 30 years running. The ANC secured 40% of the vote, as certified by the Independent Electoral Commission. Although the loss of ANC majority was generally anticipated, the magnitude of the collapse was unexpected. Support for the ANC has fallen by 17% since the 2019 election. Before the next parliament sits to choose a president, the party has 2 weeks to put together a governing coalition. In the political system of South Africa, the new president is chosen by parliament members during the first sitting following an election. To its credit, the ANC has acknowledged the outcome of the election, in contrast to many other previous liberation movements. There will be a government of national unity with the DA and other small parties, or some kind of partnership with the EFF and the fellow other small parties. The majority ethnic group in South Africa, the Zulu people, have continued to support Zuma in substantial numbers. Zuma has a history of successfully fusing an appeal to ethnic pride with his man of the people persona. Since Xhosa elites have historically controlled the ANC, he has always maintained that he is being persecuted because he is Zulu.